Who's the beat writer for the Houston Chronicle, covering the Rockets for a long time, tweeted out, Carmelo said Rondo spit at Paul and, quote, that's unacceptable, that's blatant disrespect. And that's in line with what we keep reading from various reporters who have spoken to folks who were involved in the incident or spoken with Chris Paul. We'll see how that plays into the punishment as well. The league has to get into that now. Back into the locker room, and we're going to hear from Lance Stevenson next.
Our guys was playing hard, and you know, a little incident happened, but our intention is to play hard and try to win. And we was right there, and we just didn't finish it off.
So you were playing peacemaker and all that. Did you think you got to him in time?
I just try to break it up. You know, nobody really want to fight, and I felt like other team was trying to provoke us, and we fell for it. But nobody really want to fight. We just want to play hard and win the game. So.
After that, it was a one-point game when the fight happened. After that, they kind of took the game. What happened over those last 4 minutes on the court?
They got stops and made smart plays. You know, James Harden made a lot of tough shots, and P.J. Tucker hit a shot in the corner. I mean, and that's how we lost.
I know it's only been 2 games. What do you guys got to get better at?
Just staying together, playing hard. You know, watch film, see what we did wrong, and correct our mistakes.
Why do you think what led to that escalating to the degree it did? Because guys kind of get into it all the time in the NBA. It doesn't very often get to that level.
I think our guys didn't get there and push our players away, both Rockets and the Lakers. We should have just broke our players up and went outside and went on their side. But we just got to do better at that, grabbing our guys and getting a composure.
Is that what allowed you to stay calm when all that was happening?
Yeah.
Thinking about that?
Yeah. Nobody, like I said, nobody want to fight. We just want to win the game, and I just felt like a lot of stuff provoked us.
Do you think what do you think it was that was agitating Brandon in particular throughout?
I think they was picking on him, and that's why I try to grab him as quickly as possible and tell him, hey, don't fall for the trick. And I guess we fell for it.
Punches are thrown in the Lakers' home opener.
All right, back live inside our Atlanta studio, sorting out what happened tonight between the Rockets and the Lakers beyond the basketball part, an altercation that led to 3 ejections. Rajon Rondo, according to some folks, may have spit on Chris Paul. Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN is now saying the Lakers are backing Rondo's contention that he did not spit on Chris Paul, so the league's got to deal with that as well, in addition to the punches thrown.
Riff, you've been here before. I like the fact that both sides are supporting their team or player, but the tape or the video don't lie. If we show the video again, you see Rondo and Chris Paul kind of having a standoff, and then you see Chris Paul wipe his face, and then that's when he starts to attack. So, we got LeBron now. Well, let's see what LeBron got to say.
All right, let's hear from LeBron James on his eventful home opener.
During the dispute, and what did you talk to the guys about in the locker room after the game?
Didn't see anything, and I didn't say nothing to my team after the game. Coach said what he had to say. When we come in tomorrow, get better.
LeBron, how did you think that affected the rest of the game?
We was right there. You know, it was a 1-point game, and you know, we had opportunities to win the game.
How disappointed are you with 0-2?
Not disappointed at all. I understand that we're going to have some struggles, some early struggles, and nobody said it's going to be easy. So not disappointed in nothing that we did tonight. Had some miscues. You know, down the stretch we had some missed shots. You know, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, but I'm not disappointed at all.
Ron said that pulled Chris aside after the fight. Did you say anything to calm him down? How was it? What happened?
I mean, I just, try to calm things down. That's all. You know, play basketball.
Do you think that was to do with things that were happening today, or is that just their history?
I have no idea.
Being a basketball historian as you are, describe your experience as a Laker, your first game as a Laker.
It was great. It was great. Sorry to cut you off, but it was great. The atmosphere was great. The fans were extremely excited. We gave them everything that we could. Wish we could have gave them more, get this win, but it was very electric, and we're looking forward to Monday night as well.
Had you imagined what the debut would be like, and how did it feel differently than how you imagined when you walked out there tonight?
It was a great feeling. I mean, even my first preseason game when I played in the Staples was great. Here, being the first regular season game was a great experience. Not only for myself, but for my family. And hopefully we can continue that.
The Rockets are one of the teams expected to challenge. Do you feel your team more than held your own with them?
We got a long way to go to get to the Rockets, to get to a lot of the teams in the Western Conference. They've just been together for so long. So, we will learn from our mistakes and continue to get better.
From game 1 to game 2, what did you guys do better tonight?
Well, we didn't turn the ball over as much, and we didn't give a lot of second chance points. I know they had a couple, but we did a great job of boxing out and cleaning glass. A lot of our guards came in and helped rebound, and we kind of harped on that, in Portland. So, we do a better job of that. We're going to continue to get better with it. We come in tomorrow, like I said, watch some film. That's one of our best teachers right now, is being able to learn on the fly and during the game situation, and then being able to see some things we've done wrong tomorrow in the film session.
LeBron, with so many different lineups you guys haven't had a chance to play with, what's the key on the court to still figuring out ways for cohesion?
Communication, and I think it happened at times both offensively and defensively. We kind of stalled. Sometimes the ball wasn't moving, bodies wasn't moving, but that's all about familiarity, trying to figure out where guys are, where guys like the ball, where guys are much better to help benefit our team, and then defensively, just communication. That's the most important. Knowing, what we're in, at that time whenever different lineups are in, and those are things we get better with as well.
Way back here, little people over here.
I hear you.
Just a question. Are you surprised at all about the media attention of just game 1 of your? This is like a red carpet, normal Hollywood night.
We in LA, right?
What are you going to do the rest of the night when you walk out the doors here?
I don't know. I actually don't have to go through any doors. I'm going to go down the ramp, get in my car.
Where are you going to drive to?
I'm actually not driving either, so I don't know where I'm headed next.
As a baseball fan, what do you think of the Dodgers?
Congratulations to the Dodgers on getting back to the World Series, and we'll see what happens. But that's all you can ask for, is a chance to play for the big one, and they've done that for the second straight year, I believe.
What needs to happen for you guys to get a win on Monday against the Spurs?
Hold them to 99 and score 100.
LeBron, I know you said Luke.
Your younger players tonight. You think the Rockets were trying to provoke some of your guys like you?
No, I just I don't know. I don't know about provoking and all that. We just want to play basketball. We had our chances.
Brandon Ingram seemed outwardly mildly mannered. Were you surprised by anything you saw from him during that?
I'm learning everyone around here, and that's all part of it. But I love Bi, and my small time with him so far. And I'm with him throughout whatever.
LeBron, I know you said Luke said his piece, but are you going to say anything to the team, or is that kind of old news once you step in the practice court too?
Well, I mean, listen, we had our chances tonight, and I think we take this opportunity tonight to kind of go over things we could have did more, did better, be frustrated at certain things we did, look back on things. But when you wake up tomorrow, it's a new day, it's a new opportunity. You leave things in the past and you get on with the future. So, tonight, like I said, whenever time guys go to bed, but when they wake up tomorrow, hopefully we got a fresh mind and we can move on.
Last question.
LeBron, what do you have to say to your fans? First home game lost. What do you have to tell to your fans?
What do you mean?
First home game lost. They came here to cheer the whole team, especially you. What do you have to tell them?
We got another one on Monday.
All right, thanks, everyone. Thank you.
All right, LeBron James there, who was not really pressed on the details of what he saw in the middle of that scrum between Rondo and Chris Paul, other than what he said to Chris Paul when he kind of escorted him out of there. It's interesting, he wasn't really asked much about the fight. He was asked where he's going after the game.
That lets you know he's in L.A. He's no longer in Cleveland, no longer in Miami. He's in L.A. and half of the media really wants to get to the bottom of what happened in the game tonight.
Yeah.
And the other half, what are you doing? What are you wearing? Where's the hat? What's the jacket? The chains? Where you go after where you going to need? That's the other half of L.A. That's it. I mean, he's got to get used to that now.
Well, first of all, do you think he's actually going to tell you where he's
not.
Going after the game? Of course he's not going to.
Matt, that lets you know that part of the media.
Yeah.
They don't care.
No, clearly.
And that's the part that frustrates a lot of us.
No, these are not NBA reporters.
No, they're not. No, they're looking for the other entertainment side. Let's talk about the game first and the entertainment later.
Well, you've seen this as LeBron arrives on the scene with a team that is in rebuilding mode, transitional mode before. Anything about that seem different to you, or is this kind of
No, in
the
fact,
mindset?
if I'm Rob Pelinka and Irvin Johnson, I'm really pleased with what he said about, no, I'm not the least bit bothered by the fact that we're 0-2. That doesn't make me nervous in any way. He knew that they were going to go through some rough patches early on. The fact that he experienced what he did in Cleveland when he came back, the fact that he experienced what he experienced with a star-laden team in Miami, this is not something that's going to rattle him in any way.
Right.
If they start out 0-7, I don't think it's something that's going to rattle him because he understands what this process looks like. Again, tonight you lose sight of some things that happened that were really positive. Lonzo Ball played well, made some shots, made some threes. That was growth. Brandon Ingram continues to grow and evolve competitively. He hasn't grown into his body yet. He's not strong enough sometimes to do anything about it.
Yeah.
But his competitive makeup is the right kind of makeup to put with LeBron James. So there's things you can build on for this. From a Houston perspective, I haven't heard anybody say Clint Capella's name yet. Guy has 19 points, 12 rebounds, and ends up switching on to guards throughout the night and keeps them in front of him. In fact, much better than their guards kept the guards in front of them.
Carmelo Anthony, I've seen him quoted a number of times. Pretty strong comments about Rajon Rondo, and we have sound from him from the locker room after the game. Let's listen to that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Carmelo, 20 different lead changes, home opener for the Lakers. First win under your belt, tensions were high. How would you describe the atmosphere tonight?
It is what it is. We came here, we got to win. Great atmosphere. Some bullshit happened throughout the game, but we persevered and we got the win on the road. That's all that matters.
I know a point of emphasis for you guys in between games here was better communication. How would you assess that tonight?
We did that. Our communication was at an all-time high today. We're just getting better. You know, this was a much better game, obviously, than the first game. But this game, too, but it's a big win for us on the road. We got to keep getting better, keep grinding it out. I told you before, it's a long season, but it's good to get this one.
We saw Carmelo Anthony quoted as saying that what Rondo allegedly did, if in fact he spat at Chris Paul, was, quote, unacceptable. Didn't hear from him on that topic there, but...
All I really got out of that was that their jersey logo is garbage. Boy, that looks terrible.
Oh, man.
Boy, that's a bad red. The red on red with just a little bit of black, I don't feel that at all.
I don't even know what it was. So whatever it is, I don't
see, it's clever. It's Rocket.
Oh, is that what it is?
It is.
Oh, see, I just saw R-O and then T. I didn't see anything else in there, man.
Griff's going after everybody tonight. Much more coming here on Game Time. We'll continue to get to the bottom of this fight.
See, right here, everything looks normal. Everything's normal. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You talking about? What are you talking about? Yep, everything normal. And then, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, okay. Yep, right. That's okay. No, you ain't gonna spit on me. See, that's when things get escalated. Everything else is normal.
We'll continue pouring over this tape like the Zapruder film here on NBA TV.
Oof.
Back.
124-115. The Houston Rockets beat the Lakers, who start the LeBron era 0-2. A bunch to unpack from this, including a late game fight that got Rajon Rondo and Chris Paul ejected. They squared off on the floor at Staples. Brandon Ingram came in. He threw a punch as well. It was also ejected. Meanwhile, James Harden went for 36 in a win. Here he is with Doris Burke.
Can you give us some perspective from somebody who was between the lines of why it got so out of hand so quickly?
Honestly, I'm not sure. It escalated really, really quick, but besides that, I'm happy we got our first win. We'll handle or they'll handle that how it's supposed to be handled. For us as a basketball club, coming to LA on the road and get our first win is pretty cool.
Can you talk about the effort you got from P.J. Tucker? Because when action went back in, he makes a three, and what you asked of him on the defensive end.
Time to lock in. Time to lock in and get stops when we need to. Always got to trust in my guys to make the big plays, make the big shots. And just like any other time, I'm going to pass it to PJ. He knocked down a big shot for us.
Down the stretch, as usual, you take over. Can you just talk about what you're thinking as the game is unfolding and possessions are important?
Winning time. Winning time. And I'm going to live with the shots that I take just because I work on them every single day. So, I shoot them, I make them, and we move on.
So the Rockets get the win. Lakers 0-2 now with LeBron, but everybody's going to be talking about the fight. And this may have begun, as you pointed out, with a call that went the Lakers' way on a LeBron James drive. P.J. Tucker picks up a foul on a play that looked like an offensive foul. Sort of thing happens, but this may have set the tone here.
I think just the inconsistency of the whistle from this point until the call that goes against Ingram, I think is one of the things that really sets all of this in motion. I don't believe we have Mike D'Antoni's reaction to this play. Mike was losing his mind on the bench, and I think his intensity that he brought to the situation also probably played a little bit of a role in hyping his team up.
Right.
Yeah, it's to James Harden's point, as you're watching the game, as we're trying to watch the game off to the side, the game's flowing, high scoring. Then I looked up and I said, it just stopped for like 4 or 5 minutes. And to your point, it seemed like from that play on, everything just slowed down because they had like 101 points with like 10 minutes to go. And then, like, wait a minute, what happened? What's wrong with the game? And then maybe this could be a point of it, Matt.
Yeah. There are all kinds of reports and theories flying about what started all this and where it came from. I just read somebody suggest that Rondo may have spat at Chris Paul. Don't know if that happened.
About the game, maybe?
Paul put his hand in Rondo's face, and we saw that.
Yeah,
that we could see, and then Rondo comes back with the punch. I wonder if Ingram, and I asked this a moment ago, I wonder if Ingram will be punished differently for entering as kind of the third guy in to throw a punch, because the other two were squared off, and they're going to be punished.
Yes.
They're both going to be suspended. But Ingram's act is a little different.
Yes, definitely. Well, Ingram's, in my opinion, there's two situations. When the referee came to him, the way he got in the referee's face, too,
right,
that's going to be very borderline. And obviously getting in there and punching into the melee, he's definitely going to get some fine or suspension to that.
What happens within an organization? If you're on either side at this point, you're running a team, you see this happen on the floor. What happens for you? What's on your to-do list now over the next 12 hours?
Well, you're going to do everything you can to talk to the players involved and get their account of exactly what happened, because you want to be in front of hearing what they're going to share with the league investigators when they call. You want to always be a step ahead of this if you can be in any way. Obviously, with Kiki Vandeweghe being in the building tonight, we're told, he's going to have a little bit of a head start on the information gathering. But from a team standpoint, what you want to make sure you understand is what players are going to be saying, so that when you're talking to the league on their behalf, you're not saying something counter to what they're arguing.
All on the same page, yeah. And then in terms of the process, this is happening on a Saturday night. Penalties generally come out on Mondays. When would you expect to hear from the league in terms of the investigators and in terms of their decision?
Well, I think typically they'll take all of the next day to get in touch with everybody they need to get in touch with. That's not always an easy thing for the investigators to do.
Not to interrupt, do they call players directly?
Yes.
Does that go through a team?
The league investigators will call players directly. They will ask PR people, security people, et cetera, to put them in contact with them if they're having a hard time getting in touch with them directly. But they will absolutely speak directly to the players.
And that's likely to happen tomorrow?
Most likely tomorrow, and maybe even Monday as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Late tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, yeah. Next couple of days. And the Lakers play Monday, too, so I'm sure they're going to want to get some information out as soon as possible.
They will come out with something you would suspect before another Laker game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then the conversation with the league, is it Kiki or whoever's in that position who calls you?
Yeah, you end up speaking to Kiki. There are several people, I think, that make the decision, and Kiki would be part of that decision-making group. Right. But Kiki is really the one that you communicate with on a regular basis.
All right, here's Mike D'Antoni after it was all over, the basketball and the fighting in L.A.
James kind of takes over down the stretch.
Yeah, James was James. That's what he does. And I thought it was a great game in the sense of intensity and the quickness and how fast it was, and it was a good game. We held them, I think, to 18 points in the fourth quarter, so that was key, and hopefully we can build on that and do a better job as we keep going forward.
How did you see that altercation, particularly?
I saw it from a distance. I wasn't getting in there. I had glasses on. I couldn't go in there. Stuff like that. The NBA will sort it out. It was some heated stuff, and I'm sure some spit was thrown, and when you cross the line, it happens. But the NBA will sort it out, and they'll do a good job at it.
You figure you don't have Chris tomorrow?
I don't know. I might rest him back to back. I don't know. We'll see what the NBA says.
What was it like seeing LeBron in a different uniform, and do you feel like you did a good job stopping, preventing him from becoming?
Us?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, PJ does an unbelievable job. PJ's a bull, but LeBron's great. They're going to have a great year. It's a good team, and they played hard, and I thought we played exceptionally hard also. And James took over at the end, part of the difference. He made some shots, and he was who he is. And but they're going to have a nice future. It's good.
The coordination of helping PJ on LeBron and helping when there were switches, was that what maybe was missing the first night?
Yeah, we weren't real sharp on a lot of things, and we didn't take the individual challenge the first night, and we had some slip up tonight. I mean, we can get a lot better, and we will. In the fourth quarter, we did, but we got to carry that all the way through the game, and it took us a while last year to get it under control, and but we'll get there with that.
Was the pace where you wanted tonight?
Oh yeah, and the pace, both teams I thought it was exceptional. It was good, real good.
There's not a lot of guys who can stand up to LeBron's physicality.
No, well, PJ, I would think. I don't know, but if anybody can, he has a better chance at LeBron is. And he's strong. Obviously a heck of a player. All right, thanks, man. Thank you.
Mike D'Antoni there, kind of nonplussed by the whole fighting part of the thing, other than to say he was going to stay out of it.
Getting in there.
And they'll sort it out. In terms of the Lakers and the 0-2 record at this point, the three-point shooting, again, was not very good. I don't know that that's a huge surprise based on the roster at this point. Right. 8 of 32. What, if anything, stands out to you about these two games?
We've been laughing all night about the defensive end of the floor. That's going to be when we figure out, or when Luke Walton figures out, when they find the right group to get some stops, then we'll start taking this team serious. We know they're going to be able to score. Obviously, Bron's a great passer. Once Rondo gets through what he's going through with this fight, we know he's a great facilitator. But we know the Rockets shoot a lot of threes, but other teams, too, that don't shoot threes, showing you this recipe that you're going to be able to score all night long.
Right. Here's Luke Walton in L.A.
The fight was unfortunate. I thought our guys did a nice job tonight of competing, and it's about we're still in this beginning stage, and I know we've been saying it the whole time, but we're getting better. We had another chance tonight. It's a close game against a really good team coming off a bad loss, and that's what we want, our chances, opportunities to win, and we've been there and had those both games. We haven't been able to finish the games off, but we've been there. So we'll get back. We'll keep working tomorrow on the little details I keep talking about, and it's going to work out for us just fine. So that would take any questions.
Luke, I think it was a one-point game when that happened. What did you see down the stretch after that point as you switched the rotations and everything?
Yeah, I told the guys, like, look, fights happen in sports, but we gotta, keep our composure, regain our composure, whatever it is. And, we somewhat did, but they made a lot of shots down the stretch. They did. Harden hit a couple ones, and one possession we didn't finish off with a rebound that hurt. We missed a switching on a high pick and roll they ran, where we had a little confusion between two of our guys. So we didn't execute well enough to win that game down the stretch. But I thought our guys' heads were in the right place.
It seemed, Brandon, I don't think we see that kind of from him a lot. Did you sense that tensions were building up in the minutes beforehand, or did it seem as quick to you as it did to us?
There's always a little I'll have to watch more, but I only have our computer feed that I've seen so far. But the clothesline, like 3 minutes prior to that, I saw that, and I have zero idea how that's a flagrant one. I mean, the rule is he clotheslined our guy. He picked him up off his feet and slammed him on his back, and it was a flagrant one. So that's, to me, if I'm a player or a teammate, that's where, okay, that's only a flagrant one, then we can play a little more physical. But I didn't sense anything too crazy besides our guys were a little irritated that happened and he wasn't penalized more.
Coach, just moments like that when you were a player, does it galvanize a lot? Can moments like that kind of bring players closer? I know it's very, very early, but just in general?
It can. It has before. I will hope, I'd hope it has that impact on our guys. As not the main thing that brings us together, but it's part of the journey that we're on. It's road trips. It's, those type of incidents that, will bring a team closer together. But for us, it's, our chemistry's been good. It's about getting better at the games and getting better in our coverages and getting better in our execution. That's what's gonna start allowing us to get over the hump in these close games.
What was your reaction to the interaction, both ways between Rondo and Chris Paul?
Honestly, I didn't see it happening. I saw him get into it. The refs were there. I figured at that point it was broken up. I started, getting to my board to think of what play we wanted to, run. If we were going to make any substitutions, things like that. And then when I looked back up, there was, mayhem going on. But so I didn't see how the whole thing escalated.
Did Rondo just leave the court like after it happened? I mean, did he
well,
stick around for a little bit?
I don't know the answer to that. My coaches told me that he had thrown a punch. So my assumption was he was going to be ejected. But even that, I wasn't told what I just heard on the loudspeaker, and then like, get your subs in. I didn't know who was ejected, who wasn't. And I'm trying to figure out subs. I don't even know who's still in the game or not. But it's more about us. It's more about what we need to get better at, and we'll get back after it tomorrow.
What did you see out of Alonzo tonight?
He was good. That's what we need out of him. I feel like when he just lets, when he stops thinking and just plays, he's brilliant. I mean, some of those rebounds he was flying in and getting, some of those passes and plays he was making, the threes he was knocking down. That's the beauty of his game, is when he's playing like that. So it was good to see, and it was fun to watch.
Do you think a lot of that is just because he's getting more comfortable with everyone in his second year?
Alonzo, yeah, he missed, however many months, the whole summer, the whole off season he missed. So this is, he's been, playing again since training camp, but it takes a while to get a feel, and then we got a whole new team. So it's now all of a sudden I got to, see how to play with guys, figure that whole thing out, and it's how it works in sports. It just takes time.
Luke, LeBron played a little bit of the 5 tonight. Is that a look that we can expect regularly, or was that just that Houston went really small?
Houston was small, and we've been trying to try some different things out. But Houston, they're switching 1 through 5 everything. They got Tucker as their 5 man, so it's not really. I mean, call it a 5. It's whether LeBron's playing our 3 or he's playing our 5. Tucker's guarding him, and he's guarding Tucker, so it doesn't really matter who's at what number there.
Thank you, everyone.
Laker head coach Luke Walton, who, if I understood him correctly, said he didn't really see the punch because he thought a timeout was coming, and he was going to try to figure out what's next in the game, and next thing he knows, he's lost 2 players. He referenced a clothesline that happened a few minutes before the incident, and which would have been a few minutes after the LeBron play we talked about earlier. And there it is. That's James Ennis taking down Josh Hart, and that was ruled a flagrant 1. Around the neck.
It's like a horse collar.
There's no play on the ball at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously it's unnecessary contact, which meets the standard for a flagrant 1. It strikes me as it's got to be unnecessary and excessive as well, because there's no play. There's not a basketball play happening there.
Not at all. Versus when you try to grab someone, Matt, going to a play, you're literally grabbing them.
Right.
You're trying to hold them, not let them go up. Referees, we've seen that. But when you just kind of grab a guy going full speed around the neck, you're not even going for the ball, now you can see why the emotions escalate.
And paired with that play we showed earlier, the LeBron play with P.J. Tucker, both teams got what they felt like was an unfair whistle in a very physical situation. And again, things escalate from there, and that's not uncommon. Now, obviously, a full-fledged fight breaking out is fairly uncommon.
Yeah. Yeah, that one is surprising that that's not a flagrant 2. Because even when guys are wrapped up, it's often a flagrant 1 because that's unnecessary contact.
Exactly.
It's not a basketball play, but you're not taking a guy down by the neck.
And then most guys aren't going to overreact because they know when you're trying to grab them, you're trying to save them versus that one.
Right.
You know, a lot of crazy things can happen in that situation.
And the other thing I think of, LeBron wore the microphone for us in the TNT game on Thursday night, and one of the things they picked up was if you fall down, stay down, one of your brothers will pick you up.
Right.
LeBron and Rondo are trying to help these young kids understand what it means to be a band of brothers out there.
Right.
And I think Brandon Ingram is trying to do his part to represent that. And he's trying to show that he has that level of fight in his dog. And I think it's meaningful for the Lakers. And I think Luke, when cooler heads prevail and everybody looks back at this, Luke's going to feel pretty good about how quickly this team is gelling.
Interesting. Can this, you've been through a situation like this where this can bring people together? I mean, you don't want to see it happen this way, but.
Matt, you never want to see the fight, but to Griff's point, to see guys willing to cross that line in the heat of the battle early in the season, knowing that you have these veterans coming to this young team trying to teach them how to get to the promised land. Rondo's been there. Obviously, LeBron's been there. Lance Stevenson's been there deep in the playoffs. So trying to that point, get that in them and bring it out. Yes, you don't want the fight, but you like to see the toughness.
Much will also be made of LeBron kind of taking Chris Paul aside as well. They're obviously on different sides of this, but good friends.
And before the game, you saw the LeBron, Chris Paul handshake they've been doing for the last, 5 or 6 years they've been doing it.
Right.
So that people will play into that too. But at the end of the day, to see both sides show some emotion early in the season, and let's just go ahead and call it what it is. LeBron has brought some extra excitement to L.A. they haven't seen in a long time.
Well, tonight Rondo brought some extra excitement to L.A. that they haven't seen in a long time as well. I don't know who we're going to hear from, who's going to speak. I wouldn't expect we'll hear from Rondo or Chris Paul tonight, but
maybe
we could. We do expect to hear from LeBron at some point.
One of the things that's really unfortunate about the fight and for it to be this much of a focal point is that you really don't focus as much on the game itself and what the Lakers have done in these first couple games. What I think is fascinating is they've made a real concerted effort to attack the rim every possession. They've got 138 points in the paint in 2 games, 68 here tonight, 70 in game 1, but they've been outscored by 42 points collectively from the three-point line. And again, this is a very simple analytics calculus. You are way more efficient shooting threes at 33% than you are when you shoot twos at anything below 50, and even then it's a wash, right? So the Lakers are shooting 58.8% from 2. It's not enough to overcome the discrepancy in shooting. So it'll be really, really interesting to see how this team evolves, because unless their identity becomes one of we run off of stops and that's how we generate our pace and tempo, they're not going to be able to defend at the pace they're playing the game at.
Right. The 2-for-3 swap will not work for them if they're not defending at an elite level. Looks like, assuming Rondo's facing a suspension, which I think is probably pretty safe to say. Lonzo Ball's going to likely be starting for this team again as the point guard. Had a good night tonight offensively for the Lakers, especially shooting the basketball. 4 of 8 from three-point range. He had 14 points, also had 4 assists. And so now there appears there's going to be at least a short Lonzo starting phase here for the Lakers.
Tonight, for me, guys, it was the first time we saw him, to Luke's point, play just kind of freely. In the few games you saw him play in college, you saw him, even though we know the shot's not pretty, but when you shoot the ball with confidence, I think Reggie Miller said it Thursday night, even his shot wasn't the prettiest, but when you shoot the ball with confidence, you find a certain rhythm and you shoot it the same way every time, it starts to go in. Tonight was the first time I actually seen him shoot the ball with confidence.
Yeah, and again, I think this is a situation where there's a lot of room for growth in all of these players, and I think you're going to start to see that over time, and it's just a shame, again, that all of this becomes so much the focal point that you don't think about what's really gone on from a basketball perspective tonight.
Right. Rockets hit 16 of 42 from three-point range. Harden with 36. Paul with 28 before his ejection. Rockets get the win, and the Lakers are off to an eventful 0-2 start in the LeBron James era in Los Angeles. We'll take a break. Hope to hear from many more participants tonight at Staples Center on a Saturday night fight night at Staples Center. Much more to come here on Game Time.